This is CBS 6 This Morning Weekend.
Look at this. Well, we've definitely had a couple of chilly mornings, but there is some good news on the horizon for many of us. Not only are we about to get more daylight, but we're not too far away from more spring-like warmth. But look at that. I think that's a shot of the diamond. And
yes.
Are we missing one of the Parney raves over there in center field?
There's something going on. There's something going on with the scoreboard. You just unfortunately don't have the sound there. Just be like.
Or are they his pants?
Yeah. Well, did you see behind there? There's a little bit of a big top. The Do Portugal Circus is in town.
Yes.
Yes, they opened last night and they go through the upcoming week.
When do we perform?
Here you go. Welcome to the CBS 6 Circus.
Every set, it's the big top right here. You need it with you.
That's true.
What's up? I missed you. I didn't see you. I haven't seen you since Sunday.
Well, you were traveling. You wanted to see Mama McQuaid. How's she doing?
She's okay. She's okay. Making small increments of progress. But thank you for asking.
So we send her our love.
Appreciate that.
Today, a little interesting. This is our last day on standard time for this time of the year. Our sunrise this morning is at 6:30. It sets at 6:10. We spring forward the clocks tonight an hour at 2 a.m. Right now we have a few clouds across the area. Temperatures are in the 40s for the most part. We're actually just down to 38 in Richmond last hour. It's 38 in Charlottesville. But versus this time yesterday when we had some 20s and low 30s, we're up about a good 5, 10, 15 degrees. There are some clouds around. There's a little front that's going to come through the area today with some extra clouds, and it may cause a shower or a couple sprinkles in a few locations, but the chance of rain today is only about 10-20% or so. We will make it up to close to around 60. We'll have some low and mid 50s to the far north and west behind the front. Be around 60 in the metro, but far to the south and west, like South Hill, Danville, you make it up to about 65 today before the cooler air comes in later, and winds will change around to the northwest. Could have some gusts over 20 miles an hour. So that front comes through with maybe a couple sprinkles. We don't have a big chance of precip for the week ahead, but this system here in the southern plains may affect some of us on Monday. And I'll talk more about that coming up in just a little bit. Gregory.
Michael, thanks. 6:02 right now. A man has been sentenced to 43 years in prison for killing a young father at a GRTC bus stop in downtown Richmond last year. That victim seemingly chosen at random. Cameron Thompson spoke with the family of the victim, Vincent Robertson Jr.
I'm glad that he has the sentence that he has, because he's never going to be able to walk on the streets again.
Reaction from the mother of Vincent Robinson Jr. after her son's killer was sentenced to 43 years in prison for murdering her son at a bus stop outside City Hall last year.
He was a quiet person. He stayed to himself, but he was very family oriented. He very funny. He loved to dance.
Jonathan Jackson was convicted of first-degree murder and use of a firearm, and the sentence he got was above the recommended guidelines, which prosecutors asked for because of the circumstances.
I don't know that we'll ever know the true explanation in this case. I think we can just be happy that Mr. Jackson is off the streets.
Prosecutors say Jackson had gotten into a fight with a co-worker at Children's Hospital on March 7th last year and was sent home. They say when he was told the next day he couldn't come in, but the other person was allowed to, he put on a, quote, outfit to commit murder, end quote, covering his face, getting a gun, and heading to the bus stop where he waited for his co-worker and planned to kill him. But when that co-worker didn't show up, they say he picked Robinson at random, who happened to be walking by, and shot and killed him within 18 seconds of the two meeting before calmly walking off. He was arrested several weeks later.
Even now that it's, I guess, over, it still doesn't make sense. Like, I still can't understand why it happened. Like, I understand, okay, you were mad, you were having a bad day. We all have bad days. We all get mad.
Prosecutors say Jackson made up a story that Robinson threatened him and flashed a knife, but say surveillance video show Robinson's hands in the air showing he wasn't a threat. Jackson repeated that story when given a chance to speak and said he was acting in self-defense, but added he had remorse for Robinson's family.
That wasn't an apology. That was just him wanting to stand and say something. That was nowhere near an apology. That was him upset because he got caught.
Robinson's family says he leaves behind many loved ones, including an 11-year-old son.
He's doing okay, but grief is really setting in for him. He's more closed off now instead of being the happy kid that he is.
Robinson's mom says she's now focused on carrying on her son's legacy and making sure his name is never forgotten, adding if she could have just one more conversation with him, she'd say,
"Give me a hug. I miss my hugs. I miss my hugs. I miss him calling me and getting on my nerves for just anything. I just miss him. I miss him a lot. Seriously.
Now, along with the 43-year active sentence that Jackson got, he was also given 20 years suspended, meaning if he reoffends when he's released, he could have to serve that time as well. In Richmond, Cameron Thompson, CBS 6 News.
We are learning more information about the former president of the New Kent Girls Softball League who was arrested Thursday. New Kent police have charged 54-year-old Audra Jean Carter Lowry of Chesterfield with 1 felony count of embezzlement. Carter Lowry was allegedly misappropriating funds back in July of last year. Now we're also reporting on a similar embezzlement case out of Hanover County involving the Hanover High School athletic boosters. As of right now, these incidents have no correlation to each other. Carter Lowry was released on an unsecured bond and is now scheduled to appear in court on Tuesday. On Thursday night, there was a meeting of 2 Richmond mayors, but it's not what you may be thinking. Councillor Richard Pine, the mayor of Richmond upon Thames, which is a borough in London, connected with our mayor, Danny Avula, at Virginia House. The Richmond chapter of English-speaking Union set up the visit because the 2 areas are considered sister cities due to its historical tie. Richmond was named after the Richmond in the UK because of the similarities in the view from the James River in Church Hill. To that, the view of the river, Thames. How about that? Welcome to Richmond. All right, Mike. How's our weather looking, my man?
Very tranquil for today. It's going to be a mild weekend, around 60 degrees or so. Want to take you over to the Independence Golf Club camera down Midlothian, where we have a few clouds now. Going to have a calm weekend, but coming up after the break, we're going to show you some of the severe weather that came through the past week, and we'll talk about a pretty tranquil week ahead after the break that's coming up right now.
All right, Mike, thanks so much. Straddling the border between Canada and the United States, we're looking at Niagara Falls at Niagara State Park, I might add. It is the oldest state park in the United States. How about that, Michael? 6:09. Welcome back to CBS 6 Saturday morning. And Mike, you can certainly call this a water hazard.
Yeah, that's a look at a time lapse for our Independence Golf Course camera down in Midlothian on Wednesday as the storms rolled through the area, dumping heavy rain and bringing some heavy winds as well. We had a lot of reports of some wind damage. And hey, how about this? I know you were just coming back to town on Wednesday. We set a new record rainfall for that day. We got almost 2.7 inches of rain, almost doubling the previous record from 1929. That was the heaviest daily rainfall we had since December 17th, 2023. And we also had a few tornado warnings. One went just northwest of downtown, and we had one throughout parts of Dinwiddie County and one across Sussex County as well.
Clear out there today, nice and quiet.
Yeah, in fact, we have just a few clouds around right now. A little cold front's going to come through today. It'll increase the clouds from time to time, but we'll still see some sun today. And maybe just a handful of us will see the chance of a light shower, a couple sprinkles. Right now, it's 40 at the airport. It's actually up a couple degrees from the last hour. Winds are at the south at 6, making it more feel like 36. And right now, we have a few spots off towards the west in the 30s. Most of us, though, are in the low 40s, even a few mid 40s in some locations. There's a little front here to the north and west that's going to come through today. It's going to try to bring in some cooler air a little bit later on this afternoon, but it really won't be that bad. It'll be a little bit cooler to the northwest of Richmond today, but that should be about it. There's some moisture with the front. Most of it's going to hang to the west. We'll mainly see a little increase in clouds later this morning into the first part of the afternoon. And again, we might see an isolated shower. So for today, clouds to the mix, extra clouds late morning through about mid-afternoon, and we may have an isolated shower sprinkle in there. This afternoon, high temperatures in the metro, upper 50s to around 60. We'll stay in the low and mid 50s north and west. Areas to the far south and west may get into the low and mid 60s today. Then this evening, mostly clear skies, temps around 40 degrees or so. Tomorrow morning, temperatures down in the upper 20s and low 30s. And tomorrow we'll see a good deal of sunshine with high temperatures back up into the upper 50s and low 60s. There's going to be a system that dives to our south through North Carolina on Monday. That'll give us extra clouds, a bit of an easterly wind, and we could have a few showers south of Richmond later Monday into Monday night. That moves on by, and then the rest of the week is pretty tranquil, just some clouds every now and then. A little front's going to try to come through on Wednesday with another one in the area on Thursday. So our rain chances for the week ahead are not very high at all. But take a look at the temperature progression. We'll be around 60 today and tomorrow. Low to mid 60s. We'll have actually warmer temperatures farther north you are on Monday due to the clouds and the chance of rain to the south. We'll get into the low 70s on Tuesday. Wednesday is going to be an interesting day. There's going to be a little backdoor cold front coming through. Looks like we'll be in the 50s near the coast, but inland areas in at least the low to mid 70s, and out by Danville we could get close to 80 degrees, and then just a little bit cooler towards the end of the week, but we're still looking at temperatures above normal in the upper 60s and low 70s. Tonight is the night we spring forward the clocks at 2 a.m. We'll talk more about the sunrise and sunset about that in just a little bit. 61 tomorrow, 64 with more clouds on Monday, and then a string of 70s with a very slight chance of a shower Thursday.
The Richmond Black Restaurant Experience kicks off this Sunday right here in Monroe Park with Mobile Soul Sunday. I'm Antoinette Edessa in Monroe Park. We'll tell you what you need to know coming up.
.616, welcome back. The Richmond Black Restaurant Experience kicks off Sunday with a popular food truck event in Monroe Park. Antoinette Edessa gives us the delicious deets from Mobile Soul Sunday and beyond in this morning's A-List.
I, myself, as a Caribbean person who loves soul food, my grandmother taught me everything I knew. I want to share that with everybody.
Meet the queen of the Yum Yum rolls, Chef Nikki, and Mobile Yum Yum is where she creates her specialties.
Mobile Yum Yum is a food truck that serves delicious Caribbean soul food, where we are famous for our Yum Yum rolls that has fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, and collard greens inside of an egg roll with a dipping sauce.
She also serves jerk chicken tacos, Caribbean nachos, vegan bowls, and refreshing slushies. And this Sunday, you'll find her in Monroe Park for Mobile Soul Sunday. It's part of the Richmond Black Restaurant Experience.
I'm looking for us to have a lot of people out here having a good time, as they always do, dancing, just congregating, networking, and just loving on each other, you know, and enjoying the great food and entertainment.
So Mobile Soul Sunday not only kicks off Richmond Black Restaurant Experience, it kind of kicks off food festival season around here too.
I see you. Yeah.
This year we have over 30 food vendors. That is 30 Black-owned food vendors representing the entire food diaspora, from the African diaspora to the Caribbean, traditional soul food, and some American classic remixes.
And it's more than food. Sunday's event also features an art walk and marketplace, and of course, music.
We're going to be dancing all day with Kamel, the line dance king, and we're also starting off with trap cardio because a week of eating means that we need to get ourselves moving all week.
That road leads to supporting Richmond Black restaurants all week long.
This year we have condensed our list to 25 brick and mortar restaurants because we are doing Richmond Black Restaurant Experience again in the fall.
It goes beyond the food. The Richmond Black Restaurant Experience is making a lasting impact with new initiatives like the 6495 Foundation to support small restaurants.
People have known us to do this event in March, but we really are 365 days a year. We support our restaurants, we support these small business owners, not just in these fun, cool, customer-facing kind of events, but we also are doing a lot of things behind the scenes. Our goal is to be able to expand our resources so we can further give back into this Black entrepreneurship community.
RBRE wraps up with Art for the Soul on March 15th and Stick a Fork in It Block Party on March 16th at Broad and Grace.
Then we start getting around the Lindsay Fruit Group with ML State. Come around to Gray Street, get to Lily Pearl, go to Buttermilk and Honey, hang out with us with our vendors on Gray Street, and then we'll have a great time over at the foundation. So that is Broad and Grace between 3rd and 4th. We are sticking a fork in it, and we'll be outside twice in a week.
The 9th annual Richmond Black Restaurant Experience is March 9th through the 16th with Mobile Soul Sunday, March 9th, noon to 5 in Monroe Park.
Come on out and try our delicious varieties of different meals that are from Caribbean to soul food and any type of carnival food that our people actually love to cook for the masses.
And for more information on the Richmond Black Restaurant Experience, you can visit our website. That's WTVR.com. Antoinette Dessa in Monroe Park, CBS 6 News.
Thanks, Antoinette. At 6:20, let's take you down to Colville country. This is our Old Town Petersburg camera looking at the courthouse. A few clouds around. Sunrise is about 10 minutes away, and we have a mix of 30s and 40s right now. Low front's going to come through the area with some extra clouds later this morning or this afternoon. A couple of us may see a sprinkle, but most of us will stay dry today. And it feels like temps right now are in the 30s to the low 40s. High today of 60, down to about 30 tonight. Tomorrow, that's our first day on Eastern Daylight Time for this year. Sunrise is at 7:29 and the sun sets at 7:11 tomorrow. We'll have a mostly sunny day. Extra clouds on Monday. South Side Virginia could have a couple showers, and then some warmer days going into midweek. We could have a shower by Thursday, but it looks like most of us may get through the next 6 to 7 days rain-free. Gregory?
Mike, those 70s look dynamite, man. Cannot wait. Okay, listen, coming up after the break, we'll have a check of the hoop action. U of R, VCU, and Randolph-Macon. We'll be right back.
CBS 6 Sports, sponsored by Toyota.
We begin with the postseason version of the basketball whip around. 9 games to get through from the college and high school ranks, starting with VCU going after an outright A-10 regular season title on senior night at the Stu. Phil Russell, Jack Clark, Joe Bamiso honored before the game against Dayton, and Anthony Grant's final game as Flyers head coach at the Stu. First half, Javon Bennett knocks down the 3 as the Flyers started the game on an 8-0 run. VCU would respond. Max Shulga hits a 3. He finished with 16 and 9 boards. Rams down by 6. Then VCU's defense will turn into offense. The steal and then the slam by Zeb Jackson, who had 16. VCU down by 7. But Enoch Cheeks knocks down the triple. Flyers win 79-76, ending the Rams' 9-game winning streak and their first loss at the Stu this season. Randolph-Macon's men face Westfield State in the first round of the Division III NCAA tournament in Lancaster, PA. First half, Yellow Jackets start off fast. Ty Showalter with the layup for 2 of his 10. Macon started the game on a 14-4 run. Later in the half, another turnover forced by Macon, and Jabril Robinson finishes on the other end with the and one. Macon led 39-23 at the break. They cruised to the second round with an 82-48 win. Randolph-Macon's women home for the first round of the NCAA tournament against Piedmont. Macon led by 13 to start the fourth and would add to that. Mackenzie Matheny inside for 2 of her 10. Yellow Jackets up by 17. Then Marissa Ziegler from the corner, 2 of her 11. Macon up by 20 at that point. They win 52-31. It's their 27th straight win, and they will host a second round matchup Saturday night at 7:15. A-10 quarterfinals in Glen Allen. Richmond faced Duquesne, who the Spiders defeated by 24 in Pittsburgh back on February 9th. First half, Addie Butnick, 2 of her 15. Then a couple of minutes later, Duquesne would have an answer from Keandra Brown, who finished with 18 and 7 boards. Richmond, though, up by 4 at the break. Second half, Maggie Dugan, the A-10 player of the year, putting her fingerprints on the game with the 3. She had 12. The Spiders advanced to the semis with their 17th straight win, 63-58 the final. To the high school ranks, state semifinal round, Class 2, John Marshall boys looking to return to the final as they face Luray at Huguenot midway in the second. Troy Henderson gets the step, scores with the scoop. He finished with 13. John Marshall up by 14. A couple of minutes later, Latrell Allman, the high percentage shot for 2 of his 19. Justice is up 35-19 at that point. They will play in their 5th straight state final after a 104-53 win. In Class 4, Atlee looking to make more history at home as they took on EC Glass. Third quarter, Matthew Shields with the pull-up in the lane, but EC Glass would respond. Adrian Farmer hits the same shot on the other end, but then Will Hopkins goes coast to coast as the Raiders led by 15 after 3. They win 69-55. They will get their rematch versus Varina, who defeated John Hanley 56-52 for the Class 4 state title. On the girls' side in Class 6, Manchester looking to play in a 3rd straight state final as they met Robinson. Third quarter, the Lancers, Madison Smith goes strong to the basket for 2 of her 16. Manchester up by 8 later in the third. Maya Atkinson shows off the runner as she finished with 6. Manchester on to the state final next Saturday afternoon, 53-34 the final. In Class 5, Elsie Bird and William Fleming did battle for a berth in the state final. The Skyhawks edged the Colonels last week in the Region 5C final. Third quarter, Bird will start a comeback behind Kylie Kent The bucket and the bump, 15 and 7 boards for her. Skyhawks down 6 after the free throw, but a couple of minutes later, Amari Worsham, she gets to the basket for 2 of her 10. William Fleming advances to the final, 53-51 the final. And in Class 2, John Marshall looking to return to the final if they could defeat Clark County over at Huguenot first quarter. JMU gets the turnover, and on the other end, Yasmin Hall, the Region 2A Player of the Year, gets the hoop and the harm. She finished with 28. John Marshall on to the state final with a 67-56 win over Clark County. That is the latest from the Toyota Sports Desk.
This is CBS 6 This Morning Weekend.
Reflecting on a moment where he didn't just witness history, he helped make it a reality. A preview of my latest I Have a Story with the veteran from Louisa County who played a role in a milestone in U.S. military history. For many, it's the least wonderful time of the year. Yeah, tax season, wah, wah, but it doesn't have to be so stressful. How the University of Richmond can help you file before the April deadline. And we know that we're about to spring our clocks forward, but the seasons may be doing the same. Mike Lombardi-Stone will tell us when we could be seeing some spring-like temperatures this week. I got a little peek of that 7-day forecast, and there are some 7s in there, Michael.
There are.
Delicious.
The first digit. First digit's a 7.
Right, exactly.
It's only a few weeks ago we had snow and a high of 29 on that one Tuesday and Wednesday.
Right, you're not kidding. And you know, this past week you had some inclement weather as well.
Yeah, we had some severe thunderstorms on Wednesday. It's been fairly tranquil since then. Take over the Diamond where the sun is up right now. Sun rose just around 6:30, and we have some clouds streaming on by. We're going to have these off and on during the day, so at times will be partly to mostly cloudy, but we'll still have some sun around today. Temperatures are currently in the 30s and 40s. 40 officially at the airport, 38 in Tappahannock, 35 in Louisa and Fredericksburg, and 30 up in Orange. And there's a light breeze outside, so in a few areas we do have an additional wind chill. Feels more like 36 in Richmond right now. So we have a little deck of clouds streaming on by. There's a front to the northwest. That's going to sink southward during the day today. That'll bring some extra clouds later this morning in the first part of the afternoon. And there could be an isolated shower or sprinkle in a couple spots. Best chance that's going to be south of I-64, but a lot of us are going to stay dry today. High temperatures will range from the low mid-50s to north and west to some low mid-60s to the far south and west. But in the metro will be in the upper 50s to around 60 or so. But then later on this afternoon to this evening, temperatures will start falling as that cool air comes in behind the front. Tomorrow's going to be a mild day, but tomorrow the sunrise is right around 7:30. We'll talk more about spring ahead tonight and some spring-like temperatures for the week ahead. That's all coming up. Greg?
Michael, thanks so much. It's 6:32 right now. It was April of last year when this scene played out at Virginia Commonwealth University. Pro-Palestinian protesters who were calling for the end of the war in Gaza, clashing with authorities after police said the assembly violated the law. More than a dozen people face criminal charges in those protests. And now those cases have been finalized in court. Tyler Lane shares the outcomes and has reaction from a student who was there.
13 protesters, including 6 VCU students, were initially arrested in connection to this incident. But after the final case was adjudicated last month, all charges against all defendants have been dismissed.
The people united will never be defeated.
We were there on April 29, 2024 to stand up for justice and to stand up for all the Palestinians who have been facing injustice.
VCU student and activist Serene Haddad was on campus last year when demonstrators established what they called a liberated zone for Gaza, calling for a ceasefire in the war between Israel and Hamas.
It was beautiful. There was art. There was zero violence whatsoever. We were dancing, singing, chanting.
But when protesters set up encampments, VCU said that violated school policy, and it repeatedly requested that it be dismantled to no avail. Later that evening, state police, Richmond police, and VCU police showed up in riot gear to disperse the crowd, and they declared the gathering unlawful. Tense clashes broke out, with police accusing protesters of throwing objects at them and protesters accusing police of using force against them. Haddad saying she was injured after being thrown to the ground by an officer.
I had a black eye. I had cuts all across my chin and my neck, head trauma, and my shoulder had to be in a sling for the next couple weeks.
Police arrested 13 people out of the hundreds in attendance for unlawful assembly and trespassing. Haddad was not one of them. Those criminal charges sparked protest outside of the Richmond courthouse, with dozens demanding that they be dropped. Ultimately, all 26 charges were in fact dismissed, but Commonwealth's attorney Colette McEachin says that decision was not influenced by pushback from many community members.
The dismissal of the charges is definitely the right outcome. But I think there's one thing that we should be completely clear about. These charges never should have happened in the first place. Universities are choosing, the country is choosing to criminalize protesting.
McEachin says the move was not due to a lack of evidence. She says all defendants were required to complete 40 hours of community service and write a brief memo about the rights and responsibilities that are covered under the First Amendment.
I don't regret being there at all. I stand strong in why I was there, and I will continue to.
As a general matter, McEachin says she looks to avoid incarceration and convictions on people's records when the charges are misdemeanors, don't involve violence on another person or property damage, and the defendant has a clean criminal background. That was the case here, and McEachin says all the defendants are eligible to have their records expunged. Reporting here at VCU, I'm Tyler Lane, CBS 6 News.
6:35 right now. A Louisa County man is reflecting on a chapter in life when he was not only a witness to history, but an important part of it. In a preview of my latest I Have a Story, I want to introduce you to the veteran who says the unexpected milestone still touches his heart 65 years later. Harvey Fleshman was a 21-year-old sailor when he was selected to serve on a 7-member honor guard at the opening ceremonies of American military cemeteries all across Europe in 1960. The cemeteries are the final resting place of tens of thousands of Americans who never made it home from World War II. Harvey and 6 other military members provided the 21-gun salute at the cemeteries in France, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. More than 6 decades later, the veteran says participating in the ceremonies remains a highlight in his life.
Harvey, what was it like to participate in these special commemorations at the American cemeteries in Europe so long ago?
It was one of the greatest honors of my lifetime, and I presume it would be the same for anyone else. I don't think anybody could be in that position and not be deeply touched. Just, you couldn't keep tears from rolling. It's an experience you never expect, and it's also one that's cherished too.
Coming up in my I Have a Story, meet the Louisa County man who played a small but memorable role in American military history 65 years ago. See my full story ahead in our next hour. Hey, if you're wondering why there's an extra pep in your step or why the sun seems to be shining a little brighter, that's probably because it's everyone's favorite time of year, tax season. And if you've still got your return in some to-do pile, some of the River City's future stars are here to help out. Caroline Colburn tells us about the free tax prep program from U of R.
If you or your family make less than $67,000 per year, you are eligible for free help filing your taxes through the Volunteer Income Tax Program, which includes more than 60 University of Richmond student volunteers. Through this program that's been around for more than a decade across Central Virginia, these students become IRS certified and then they volunteer at one of 12 sites across the region. They're also taking away valuable life skills that they may not learn in the classroom. Last year, program volunteers helped more than 3,300 community members recover $3.6 million in tax refunds and save more than $845,000 in preparation fees. Lauren Hollister with the University of Richmond says while they always recommend you file your taxes early, the IRS is warning it could take a little longer for you to receive your refund this year with the recent layoffs at the agency. However, Hollister says fortunately they haven't seen any major delays for the people that they've helped so far.
I would recommend people, as once they have all their tax forms, to come in, get their taxes, come to our tax site and get their tax returns prepared as soon as possible. It is an uncertain time, and so far we're able to operate without any issue, and people are getting their refunds. So I would just encourage as soon as possible. And so far, we haven't had any sort of issues on our end as far as getting things processed and going on time.
Well, if you're interested in the program, you can walk in or sign up online for an appointment. We have a link at WTVR.com, and you can also visit the VITA program website. In studio, I'm Caroline Colburn, CBS 6 News.
6:39 right now. You remember those old commercials, Want to Get Away? Well, this blimp apparently felt the same way. Bye-bye. We're going to let you know exactly where this bad boy went soaring away like a candy wrapper caught in an updraft. Hold on to your skirts and toupees there, Michael.
I'm holding on to it for dear life, Greg. Well, we have the sun up across the area now. That's how it looks down in Petersburg. Sun's been up for about 9 minutes now. We're going to see a few clouds from time to time today, but it's going to be a mild weekend. We'll chat about that coming up next.
Mike, we're going to have to be a little bit quiet for this one. You're a little loud. Hold on. This is from the Big Bear, California nest cam. Apparently, there's some new eagles under that that beautiful bird. 6:42 right now. A U.S. Customs and Border Protection surveillance blimp took an unexpected trip Monday. Officials say strong winds dislodged the craft from its base in Texas.
Video captured the blimp in the sky until eventually faded away behind thick fog. The blimp was found by officials the following day near Dallas, roughly 600 miles from where it was originally docked.
Mike, we had some seriously high winds here this past week, man.
Yeah, on Wednesday we had some spots that had some severe thunderstorms, winds over 60 miles an hour. And that storm in and of itself, the parent storm, produced wind gusts even 40, 50, 60 miles an hour even without some thunderstorms.
A little quiet today.
Yeah, a little quiet today. Sun's been up now about 13 minutes or so. We have a few clouds outside now. The clouds will increase a little bit later on this morning in the first part of the afternoon. Front's going to come through the area, and a couple of us may see a sprinkle. Normal high is 57. We should be around 60 today and tomorrow. Sunrise was at 6:30. It sets tonight at 6:10. But tonight is the night that we spring forward the clocks 1 hour to daylight saving time. That happens at 2 a.m. tonight, so it becomes 3 a.m. So that means for tomorrow, the sunrise is at 7:29, and tomorrow's sunset is at 11 minutes past 7 o'clock. Also a good time to change those batteries and the smoke and carbon monoxide detectors as well. Mix of 30s and 40s across the region right now, and these temps are up from this point yesterday when we had some 20s to low 30s. Light breeze outside producing a wind chill. Feels more like 36 here in Richmond, 38 down in Emporia, and 36 in Danville. Few scatter clouds here. The front's off to the north and west. This precipitation you see here west of I-81 will pretty much stay there. There's actually going to be a little bit of snow in the state of West Virginia, but as that system comes through today, there could be a couple of sprinkles. So we watch the clouds increase and maybe an isolated shower, a few sprinkles, and then those move away. We see more sunshine later today and some clearing for this evening and tonight. Tomorrow we'll have a partly to mostly sunny day. A few clouds will stream across southern Virginia from time to time. Going into Monday, there's going to be a system in North Carolina that'll increase the clouds across the region, especially south of I-64, and there is a potential for a couple showers near the North Carolina line. We may get a few showers up to about Route 58, maybe just south of the Tri-Cities. We'll keep an eye on that, but the majority of that system is going to go well to our south, so no worries about that. High temperatures today will be in the 50s to north and west, around 60 in the metro, and some low and mid 60s down near North Carolina. For overnight tonight, we drop back down into the 20s and 30s. For tomorrow, we'll have a few spots in the 50s, but a lot of us near or above 60 degrees. On Monday, some 50s near the coast, low to mid 60s elsewhere. Warmer temperatures farther north where there'll be more sun. On Tuesday, away from the coast, upper 60s and low 70s. And on Wednesday, it's going to be a little backdoor cold front sweeping through the area. So some 50s near the coast, mid to possibly upper 70s in the metro, and some low 80s to the south and west. So pretty much a dry weekend, maybe just a sprinkle today. And then for the week ahead, more clouds on Monday. String of 70s potentially Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and very low rain chances, maybe an isolated shower late Thursday. Greg?
All right, Mike, thanks so much. 6:45 right now. I'll tell you, Mike, is this morning flying or what?
It is, Greg.
I just heard a sigh over there. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Hey, the time shift won't be the only thing. Come on over here for this one. That could be driving you little bananas. Just ahead, we're going to tell you about some traffic alerts you need to know about coming from the River City Half Marathon. Mike's going to be running in that, aren't you?
My people don't run.
Oh, that's right. And we saw something last night in Denver that is literally unbelievable. What Nikola Djokovic did that no one else has ever done in the near 8 decades they've been playing NBA basketball. You need to hear about this. We're now learning more about the death of actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa. Officials now say that both died of natural causes. Authorities in Santa Fe, New Mexico say they believe Arakawa died on February 11th, possibly of hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, a rare disease that can infect humans through contact with rodents. Meanwhile, Hackman's pacemaker recorded his last heartbeat a week later on February 18th, with the medical examiners saying it's possible the 95-year-old actor may not have been aware of his wife's passing when he died officially of heart disease. And it's also being reported that he had been suffering from late-stage Alzheimer's. Their bodies were discovered on the 26th, along with that of a dog who had died in a crate as well. A heads up for those of you looking to get around town today. The Boulevard Bridge in Richmond is going to be closed for part of the day because of a very important reason. It's all because of the Virginia Credit Union River City Half Marathon. Starts at 8 o'clock, followed by the start of the River City 5K race. There'll also be a post-race festival located at the finish line on Lakeview Avenue. When it all wraps up, it'll be a live show at the Virginia Museum of History and Culture. It will feature professional runners and hometown hero Kiara D'Amato and Allie Feller, host of the Allie on the Run podcast. The Boulevard Bridge will also hold its 100-year celebration from 11 to 1. And speaking of news stories, here's another one. Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets. He has continued to be one of the most dominant performers in NBA history. Last night, he did something that defied even his seemingly impossible standards. Listen to this. Check out the stat line the Joker put up last night in Denver's 149-141 overtime win against Phoenix. 31 points, 21 rebounds, and a career-high 22 assists. That is the first time in the NBA League history, 79 years to be exact, that anyone has ever had a 30-20-20 game. Wilt Chamberlain never did it. LeBron James never did it. Parney never did it. Wayne Koval never did it. But Jokic reached the seemingly unreachable star and stat line. By the way, he made a pretty good case last night to win his 4th MVP in 5 seasons. He's pretty good. 6:51 right now. And if you like that, we've got another good one for you, because after you pay some bills and we pay some bills, we're going to tell you which cheese is taking home the crown of the coveted U.S. Championship cheese contest. Is it rolling down a hill? We have to find out. First, here's Pause for Pets.
Good morning. Hangry Joe is a laid-back senior boy adoptable from the Richmond SPCA. He's looking for a comfy place to enjoy his golden years and would be a great companion for someone looking for a laid-back kitty who likes to take things slow. He still has a curious personality and likes to take in the world around him, and especially loves to look out the window. Hangry Joe can never get enough food. He has a bit of a sensitive stomach and is on a specific food. He's a sweet kitty who loves to be near his people, getting some good ear scratches. Hangry Joe would love nothing more than a quiet home, and if you're interested in meeting him, you can visit him at the Richmond SPCA or send an email to adopt@richmondspca.org. I'm Mike Goldberg with this morning's Pause for Pets.
Now, from CBS 6, the Weather Authority, meteorologist Mike Stone.
And welcome back at 6:54. Temperatures now are in the 30s to low 40s, and we have a few clouds across the area. For today, we'll have a cloud-sun mix. A little front's going to come through. Could get us a couple sprinkles. A high today of 60, and tonight we're down to 30. And tonight's the night we spring the clocks ahead at 2 a.m. For tomorrow, looking for a high of 61 degrees. Our sunrise is at 7:29. The sunset tomorrow is at 7:11. More clouds on Monday. A couple showers possible Southside Virginia, and then warm into the middle part of the week, and we'll stay in the 60s and 70s right through next weekend.
Getting warm enough to melt some cheese.
Indeed.
Speaking of
Segue.
which, some seasoned pros from the Northeast are making it really, really look easy being cheesy. The 2025 U.S. Championship Cheese Contest, yeah, they have them, was held in Wisconsin this week. And for the second year in a row, an aged Gouda from Connecticut took the top spot. Didn't we know him, the aged Gouda from Connecticut?
believe we went to high school with him. It narrowly beat out the runner-up Mama Koval's Monster Munster. John Burkett's Limber Limburger didn't even hit the top 10. There were more than 2,400 entries across 117 classes and from 31 states. Cheesemakers from Wisconsin did lead the competition with 55 best-of-class gold medals.
What's your favorite?
Havarti, maybe.
Okay. Mozzarella. You heard Sean mention earlier this morning that the Richmond women's team won their A10 tournament opener. But you know that a Henrico party don't stop. The Dr. J and let's say Bob Cousy of CBS 6, Antoinette Essa, joins us live in just a few minutes from the Henrico Sports and Events Center, where the action is set to pick up in just a few hours. Yes, she's leaving us for the Harlem Globetrotters. We love you, Antoinette. Keep on shooting.